Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for the midweek end of day recap for September 19th, 2018. Let's get into it, you guys. So pretty much overall today, a very ho-hum day. So we're looking at the SPX. You can see the XPX didn't really have much action going on today, almost a doji right there at the end of day. And if you look at the 5-minute chart of the SPX, you can see what these lines here on my chart are. The high and the low of the opening candle for the day. So you can see we have the high and the low right here of this opening candle, and you can see we just traded in a range. We didn't really get outside of this range right in here just all day long. It just kind of chopped back and forth, just a few points in there. We are approaching that high of 29.1236, which was made back here on August 29th. So not too long ago. You can see overall we are in an uptrend here on the SPX, but you know, I think we're going to test those highs again. We're approaching those highs. We're not too far off of it. We closed today at 29.0795, so we're just a few points off of that all-time high there. We are getting a little bit of a divergence, not much. You can see on the SPX here, you can see we're kind of getting a little bit of a wedge here. We do have a little bit of a downward slope here in the MACD, also the RSI. So, you know, we'll see what happens. It's I think we're due for a pullback. We are still trading above that 21 EMA here on the S&P. So we're just looking for some, you know, maybe come up and test those highs and then a little bit of a pullback. But, you know, nobody knows. The market can do whatever it wants. All right, let's take a look at gold. So gold today, also ho-hum day on gold. You look at the gold. We got a doji right here on gold. I would say overall gold still in a downward trend. You can see we're definitely bearish. Looking for some support to come in here and hold right around that 114.64 mark. So, you know, we have the support that's all the way back in here, and we're kind of just trading along that support level. Now, if you look at the 5-minute chart of gold, you can see that today we just really chopped around as well. Here we have the high and the low of that opening 5-minute candle, and we closed right smack in the middle of that first opening candle. So really not much action going on in gold as well. We closed gold at $113.88 today. So USO had a pretty good day today. You know, USO obviously doesn't move very much, but a pretty good day for USO. You can see that it closed at $14.94. That's up 1.7%, which is a 25% move, or a 25-cent move on the day. Overall, we have an uptrend in USO. You can see here we got a nice uptrend that we've been following for this whole time. Also, you know, I'd say we're about middle of the range for the RSI, so we'll see what happens. We're kind of approaching some resistance here in USO, so maybe looking for a little bit of a breakout to the upside. You can see the MACD is still very bullish, and we did come down and touch in here, but we are still looking for some upside in the MACD. All right, let's now look at silver. So silver, you know, still down on a downtrend, bearish trend in silver. Overall, you can see that we have definitely reached some oversold conditions here in silver, and coming down in here to find some support in silver. You can see that looking back, we're right around this support level that was, you know, right around this level here. If you know, it's quite a ways back. We're looking back in October of last year, and we're right back where we were a year ago. So we're coming in about that $13 level. You can see that today we closed at $13.40, and that low back here was $13.04. So clear back there in October, and here we are 1 year later, right back where we were. So looking for that support. We do have a MACD cross, looking for some potential upside, especially with that oversold and coming into that support level. So possibly a little bit of a bounce in silver. Now looking at the Qs, the Qs have been on a tear as well. So looking at the Qs, we've got today really not much though. Still trading above that 21 EMA. We've had some days where we've closed lower than that 21 EMA. You can see we do have some divergence here, and you can see that as we look at this MACD and comparing it to this uptrend here, we do definitely have some type of a divergence here. So maybe looking for a little bit of a pullback in the Qs, especially if we keep continuing to close below that 21 EMA. We could see some bearishness in the Qs. All right, let's look at the Russell. Again, the Russell, we've got some divergence here in the Russell as well. You can see that the MACD and the RSI have somewhat of a divergence based on this uptrend here that we've been watching in the IWM. So again, traded below that 21 EMA. We've been kind of hanging around that 21 EMA, but we definitely did close lower than that. We did have a MACD cross back in here on about September 10th, and so maybe looking for continued downside, a little bit of a downside tone to the IWM. All right, TLT. So TLT today had a very far down move, or a very what would you call it? Just a big down move today in TLT. So we're looking at bonds. We definitely had a crossover back just a few weeks ago here, September, about the beginning of September, and we definitely are showing some signs on the RSI that we are moving down. We have approached, though, an oversold condition here in TLT, and we are approaching, if you use Fibonacci levels, you can see that we have approached a 1272 extension of this prior move. So if you're looking at this extension move right here on this uptrend, we're now approaching that 1272 extension of that move right here. So we have come down into that 1272 extension, and if we take a look back in bonds, you can see that we've touched this this support numerous times before and bounced off of it. So we'll see what happens with this one, but we did kind of throw a hammer down here at the bottom, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. And definitely with that oversold condition, we might see a little bit of a bounce in TLT, which would make sense if you're correlating it with the S&P and the other major indexes. Usually when money's flowing out of those, they're flowing back into the bonds. So we'll see what goes on with that. Let's take a look at I would like to show you guys the sector spiders and see what we're looking at here. So I've sorted the sector spiders out by the percent change on the day. So it looks like we're about half and half. The biggest moves today were in XLB. So XLB materials, we had a 65-cent move in XLB today, which is a 1% change, 1.09% change. The big loser for the day was XLU. So let's take a look at XLU. XLU had a 1.18 dollar move to the downside. So that represents a 2.17% change. I can't even talk today, guys. So we're looking at a big move down in XLU. It's traded below that 21 EMA. We did have the MACD that's been kind of holding steady right here, which has now made a downward move. So looking at XLB, let's go back up to XLB. That's the big mover for the day. We did have a nice move, and you can see that MACD and RSI showing continued bullish signs. Financials had a big move today as well, up 1.7%. Looking at energy, well, let me show you the XLF chart on a 5-minute. So you can see the opening candle right here on that 5-minute chart, and the high of that 5-minute candle, it just took off today. It just blew right out the top. XLE, not much of a move in XLE. Looking at the 5-minute chart of XLE, basically opened up that 5-minute candle, traded higher, and then closed right back at the high of that that opening 5-minute candle. Looking at Biotech, not much of a move today in Biotech. Pretty stagnant. XLY, consumer discretionary, pretty stagnant as well. Not much going on there. Looking at a 5-minute chart of XLY, you can see we traded down, and then now we're right back up where that first 5-minute candle actually closed, or opened at. I'm sorry. So, you know, overall looking at XLB, which is materials. If we look at the materials watch list, you can see that everything in materials pretty much for the day was green. All stocks in that sector were green. Looking at XLU, let's take a look at the utilities. You can see that everything was red in utilities. So I kind of like to look at these watch lists like that and break them down, and I have them over here on the left hand side so you can open up each one of them and see. So technology, you can see technology had a nice up day. We had, you know, about half and half on technology, but it's just kind of nice to get a little snapshot of what everything's doing, what each sector's doing. So I've broken them down. Transports, you know, we're about half and half on the transports. Healthcare, down day for healthcare today, and that's XLV right up here. You can see we're down a quarter, or about 0.14%. And let's see what else we looking at here. Anyway, guys, that's just basically a daily recap of the sector spiders and the major indexes. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I enjoy making these videos, and it's a good journal to look back on as well. So we can all look back on this day on September 19th, 2018, and look at what things we're trading for then, and probably will blow our mind at some point in the future. But hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.